Now, President Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, has recently been convicted of lying about his drug use to illegally buy a gun. A jury in Wilmington, Delaware federal court found him guilty on all 3 counts against him, making Hunter Biden the first child of a sitting US president to be convicted of a crime, a verdict Democrats may seize upon to counter Donald Trump's claim of a justice system weaponized against him. Well, join me now to discuss this is the spokesperson for Republicans Overseas UK, Jennifer Ewing. Jennifer, welcome to the studio on a hugely controversial day. For the benefit of a British audience who may not be aware of this case, we've got a general election going on after all. Can you bring us up to speed about the charges behind this, the story and the verdict? Sure.
And in America at the moment, there's a lot of lawfare going on. So even those of us who are sitting in America paying attention to this can't follow all of it. So basically, the laptop from hell that had been suppressed before the 2020 election, once that turned out to be real, which we now know, a lot of things came from that. And also, one of the things that happened in this case, in his hometown of Wilmington, Delaware, where the Bidens are from, this case was about lying on a gun form, saying that he was not addicted to drugs. Right? Yeah. And there was a lot of testimony and there was a lot of evidence showing that that was not true. He was still very much using crack cocaine and other drugs during that time. So he was convicted on all charges. We'll find out later in the summer what the sentencing is. He could go to prison. I doubt very much that he will. This is his hometown. They love the Bidens. I really hope that the Republicans don't turn this into some kind of lawfare. And as a matter of fact, there was talk that President Trump, were he to win, would come in and pardon Hunter Biden, because he's now a convicted felon. So he would pardon him. President Trump has a brother that was an alcoholic, so he understands. So do most of Americans. You know, they have addiction in their families. So, And the other thing that I think is interesting is if I were to be a cynical person, I would say this is the one charge that Hunter Biden is looking at that does not tie the crime to President Biden, right? There were some tax charges that he's actually going to face trial in California, I believe, next week, as well as some foreign agent around briberies from, Ukraine and China. So those could link to President Biden. This does not. So it is again, if I was going to be cynical, it is a good way for people to say, hey, this is a fair justice system. We go after Democrats as well.
And Hunter Biden is a man not without his issues, his addictions, been very public about that. In fact, some of the evidence, Jennifer, was agonising in its brutality of his crack addiction. He was waking up in the morning. Did he get his sister onto drugs as well?
Well, what it was his deceased brother's ex-wife,
right,
who he started dating after Beau Biden, his brother, died.
Yeah.
And she, got addicted to crack cocaine. So, there were some really sad stories coming out of that. I wouldn't wish addiction on anyone. Certainly this is playing out in front of the whole world. The irony, actually, is I believe President Biden is due to speak at an event today about this exact law. President Biden has been very sort of, pro more gun laws, and this law saying that a former addict cannot own a gun is exactly what his son was just convicted of. So,
and moving on from the Hunter Biden case, we initially got you in earlier to talk about Joe Biden himself. You mentioned he's about to do a speech, and yesterday at a Juneteenth celebration at the White House, Joe Biden seemed to totally freeze mid-sentence. He seemed to go into kind of, here he is, you can see on screen there that this is a celebration from yesterday. He completely physically freezes. He doesn't seem to know where he is. A lot of people saying, Jennifer, is this guy okay?
Look, Martin, I mean, first of all, you look at that and it's very sad. That is clearly somebody in the stages of, well, I'm not a doctor, dementia or other cognitive decline. It actually looks photoshopped, that picture, doesn't it? I know it's not, but he's totally still, while everybody else, including, George Floyd's brother, and then some man dancing in a sequin dress, and Kamala Harris trying to get her husband to dance, and he's frozen, as you say. This is sad. And I think if the Democrats were honest, they would say we need another candidate. This is elder abuse, but the Trump derangement syndrome is so strong, and they do not want President Trump to get elected again. And it's looking like he will. He's ahead in the swing states, and he wins on the issues.
You know, it's funny, Jennifer, I spoke with one Joe Biden's former chief of staff last week, and I specifically said to her, look, a lot of people are saying Joe Biden doesn't seem quite right. You know, you speak to him regularly. How is he? And she said, oh, no, he's as sharp as he was 20 years ago. So the official line, at least, they're putting out is that he's compos mentis. There's no problem at all. This is scurrilous rumours. But there seems to be a mounting body of physical evidence we can see where something looks a bit amiss. No,
completely. And I agree with you. Everything we're hearing out of Washington, for people who are probably far more plugged in than I am, is he's going to be the candidate. That's it. We'll see you at the debates on June 27th. One thing to note about these debates is it was Joe Biden and his team's decision to move them from September up closer to June, right? And they're also doing it without the election committee for the first time ever. My personal view, and it's contrarian, is that this is going to be a test case for can Joe Biden actually do a debate. I doubt very much he can. We've seen the energy differences between him and President Trump, at which point they've got three options.
Okay, thank you very much. Jennifer Ewing, Republicans Overseas, for joining us.